Howdy ho, good neighbor. Today we're flying high over Treasure Island. Treasure Island, California. Question mark? That's right, this is Treasure Island, and I do believe it has its own post office. Treasure Island military base, I do believe, was here at one time. Now, don't take anything I say for the truth, because I have coined myself the honest liar. Coined myself the honest liar. Can you believe that? Well, Treasure Island, a military base being transformed into high-rise. Wow, that's correct. If you've been driving across the Bay Bridge, you have seen this mammoth high-rise structure being built, along with some residential buildings that one is completely done. But this one is something you cannot miss if you're driving across the bridge. I was kind of surprised on how fast it went up, so I had to get over here and take the drone up and see it before it tops out. That's what we call a building, a high-rise. When it tops out, that means the last floor has been installed. But there's the original building of Treasure Island. That is, I want to say, a naval base out here, but I guess I'm a bad YouTuber because I should have done more research like the professionals do. But you know me, I'm no professional. I'm just a hobbyist with a drone and an iPhone. But it was neat to see the cranes moving. And there is the crane right now holding a big chunk of rebar that they're mounting. But that right in the center of your screen is the concrete pumper. And that will be the elevator shaft someday. So they run that concrete pipe all the way down. Down, 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 down. And they pour the concrete in the bottom with the big trucks. So once a month or so, they pour one floor at a time. And there's the elevators, the man lift, as they say. It's not really an elevator, it's just a man lift. And believe it or not, those things can hold a whole man lift. The elevator can hold a scissor lift, as we say. But right here, I took the drone up and I realized, hey, you are a little too close, buddy. You better get away from that rigging. So I kind of backed off and realized I could lose my drone if I stay this close to that crane. So you can see I was going down as the rigging was going down. But I'm just an arm's length away. So I was very fascinated on where that rigging was going to go, so I was going to go down and see what he was going to pick up. But just like a mouse with a shiny object, I got sidetracked, and I'm very lucky that I didn't run into the cables. Now that I see them right in front of me going down, you can see them right there to your left, and I'm looking at that elevator car, so I gotta be careful. I didn't even see those till right now. So boy, oh boy, when you're out here flying, you gotta be careful, because you are distracted by just a small screen. You can't really see a lot. So as I'm concentrating on the building, I'm not looking at the crane cables, and there they are. So luckily I'm backing out. I got away from all that action, but there's a good shot of how big that building is and the development that's still going to go on here. They have a whole bunch of old buildings that are being torn down, but this is the first phase of the Treasure Island development. And they've already got some condos on the top of Yerba Buena Island right there. If you look real quick, you can see some condos right there at the top of Yerba Buena Island they just built. So there's been a lot of development out here. That's Yerba Buena Island and the Bay Bridge and the Crown Jewel, San Francisco. And today, well, the fog was rolling in, so you can't even see the Bay Bridge, but there's a boat getting across the bay. But out there on the tip of Treasure Island, there's still a lot of people that live out there. And those are some of the affordable housing that is, well, I say that loosely because nothing is affordable in the Bay Area. But you can see there's a couple of original buildings that they're trying to keep. And some of them are just in total disrepair. I'd like to bring my drone out here and show you some of those sometime, because there are some abandoned buildings that should be documented before they get torn down. But there's that crane. Yeah, I come back and you can see that crane has picked up a big chunk of rebar, and they're going to set that prefabricated rebar. These guys that tie that rebar together, well, they're an unspoken hero, because they just crawl and turn and bend and pull. Rebar Workers of America don't get enough credit for how hard they work. First of all, the stuff is really heavy, and they gotta climb and pull and push and bend over. I don't know. All these trades, they're just risking their lives every day for a building. You can see that man's tied off. And I will say that I got a little alarm right here on this phone going on, so I'm trying to turn that off as I video. So that's unprofessional, but I got it going. But back to it at hand here, what I was saying is these rebar workers, now they got to set that thing. They got to set it and forget it. But after they set it, an inspector has to come and inspect it. So you think you're just going to set it and forget it, but no. The inspector, he has to look at it. So after they make that wall, see, there's a good look at one of those walls almost all the way done right there. You can see it's just all concrete tied together. And there's those guys who have to climb up there. And then after they get up there, they have to see that guy, he's pushing and pulling that rebar one stick at a time. And he's got to get one piece at a time in there, weave it like an Indian basket. And it is not easy. So there they are, working together. See, back and forth. See how hard that is? The other guy on the other, that stuff is heavy too. So if you think your job is tough, imagine theirs. I could watch that all day, but you know, this video is going to be long enough with me yapping, so I just better go look at some of these other buildings and not just watch those guys all day, which I could, but I don't know how interesting it is to watch people work with the rebar. Well, over here we got the framers at work, the toothpickers. Yeah, you can see there's these guys. They work hard, and they're in the weather all day too. Now, what's fascinating about these jobs is all this wood. Well, I hope they got good fire protection because, yeah, we'd hate to see anything go up, especially when they're at this stage. Well, there's a building that's completed. That is one of the models that if you ever want to live around here or work here, that's possibly where you would live and work. Well, they thought there would be a pool down there, but there's no swimming pool here. Just a little courtyard of trees. So I'm surprised to see no pool. And no pool here either. But there you go again. There's apartment living at its best. And if you look in the background, you can see a big pile of dirt ready to be cleaned up and more development. So I don't know if the future will have more development. I didn't want to bring it up, but there is a secret that the next economic boom is about to drop. And if you ask people who work in San Francisco, well, the boom has already dropped. They say that half of those high-rises only have less than 0.5% occupancy. So it makes no sense to me to build a building now. Somebody must have had this in the works before the crash was foreseeable. So like I always say to everyone that I see, try to live for today, because it's not easy. Because we always try to think about what's going to go on in the future. Well, we don't know if there will be a future, so try to live for today. I know it's easier said than done, but I don't know if I can do that some days, but back to this beauty. Look at the Bay Bridge behind you and the Oakland skyline, but Webcor, that's who's doing this project. And I couldn't really tell you how many stories this is going to be, but for now, it's going to be at least 20. But they're not going to tear that beauty down. That's history in the background. So there's a good picture of the old buildings with the new buildings. Yeah. If you want to get around, you gotta take one of those lifts to get to the next level. Well, there you go. That's about as much of this island as you're going to see here. Like I said, they have a little park that's going to be developed right here. I do believe that what you're looking at right here is going to be a park. So along with these apartment buildings, you're going to have a park with this beautiful view of San Francisco. And the water's in front of it. And there's a break wall to break any big waves coming in towards that pier. Well, I can't wait to see this project being more developed. And I can't wait to see what's happening with the city of San Francisco and what's going to happen to that with half of the city being occupied and no one being able to afford it. Well, that just goes against what I just said, and try to live for today. I know we want to go round around this cable, but I will just say this before I let you go, that this building is built on man-made landfill, and it has been here for over 100 years. But did I say it's built on landfill? That means humans basically brought in dirt and filled in the shallow bay and made this island. So attached to Yerba Buena Island is Treasure Island. And what a treasure it is. And what a treasure it shall be. But remember, try to live just for today and prepare for the future. But always be grateful for today. Well, as always, I want to thank you again for coming along with me on these Treasure Island adventures. You know the drill. Peace, love, and all that hippie jazz. Bye-bye, everybody.